Discovery video 97. Delaware Park. A very, very good Monday, Tuesday track. Maiden claiming 7,500 is the condition. It's a 4-star preferred race. We absolutely look for those. Over here on the main page, I'm going to log into the free area and find the banner or the link that says view all Discovery videos. Click on that. And here's your page, got 90 some odd, almost 100 videos now in this series. Under the big red arrow, value odds and overlay preferred races. Now, what this is, if you don't know, this is a culmination of 16 years worth of research. And I have found certain races to be much more profitable than others as far as finding your value odds or overlay winners at nice odds, which ultimately returns a long-term profit for the horse player. I mean, that was the goal. Okay, now these are the races that I have found to be the best of all races. And of this group that I'm about to show you, there's 3 conditions that are the best of this group. So we're going to start off with the starter allowance races. It'll say ALW, and then it's got to have the little letter S. Okay? All other allowance races are not preferred. Then you got your non-graded stakes, like the John Moore 75,000, and grade 3 races. It'll also say G3. Now, grade 2 and grade 1 not preferred. All maiden claiming races, which this race in this video is one of those. Highly rated, 4 stars, best of the group. Maiden special weight. Claiming races with a condition, it'll say CLM, the claiming price, and then some combination of numbers or letters to the right of the claiming price. That's a conditional claimer. That's also highly rated, 4 stars. Bottom and low level claiming races, basically $5,000 to $10,000 claimers in that range at most tracks. All races run on the turf. As long as it's a turf race, it qualifies, regardless of whatever else it is. 4 stars, highly rated. And all races run on a track, a main track, that's labeled anything but fast. Okay? Well, we're going to look at a maiden claiming race, highly rated, 4 stars. And once I find the race that I'm looking for, I immediately look for the value odds horses. Usually there's 1. We have 3 here. This is going to be a good video. I'm going to show you how to do the elimination process and then what to do with what's left. Okay, this is really a real good video for you to learn. All right. You have 3 value odds horses, okay? Top 3 picks. You don't see that very often, all right? But, you know, every now and then you have to deal with it. And it's actually very simple on how we're going to deal with it. It's a process of elimination. Most of the time, the betting public, in a situation like this, most of the time the betting public will actually bet one of these horses. Okay? Which would normally bring the horse down below double-digit odds, which means we don't consider it for play. I don't consider anything 10 to 1 near post time playable at all. Okay? And that's if I have 1 value odds horse. But usually you're going to have 1 out of these 3 bet down, and then you can eliminate that horse. Okay? Let me show you the odds near post time. Okay. Now, first of all, if you cannot see the odds near post time, in other words, if you need to make a bet in advance, in other words, you look ahead and you see, oh, the 6th race at Delaware is a maiden claimer. Those are great races. How do I play this race? I mean, you can gauge the morning line odds, but ultimately, that's not an exact science. You really need some kind of account wagering in which you can do conditional wagering. All right, I believe all the U.S. account wagering companies have this now, called conditional wagering, where you make a bet, but you condition it to minimum odds acceptance at whatever minutes to post you want. I go minimum 10 to 1, example, at 0 minutes to post. Conditional wagering will then check the horse's odds at 0 minutes to post. If they meet your minimum qualifications, your bet is placed. If not, then your bet is not placed. Okay? Now, I use Twin Spires. I think they were the first to come out with that. I'm not sure. But conditional wagering, for the person who can't be there to watch the race and see the odds, that's a must. We have a lot of members using it with much success. Now, look at how the betting public has made a decision for us. They bet down the 10 Cafe Rendezvous to 3 to 1. Okay? Why? I don't really care. Because once the horse is below 10 to 1, I don't really care it exists, except for the fact that I'm going to be playing it underneath in exotics. Now, that leaves us with the top two picks. Number 5, Hidden Loot, coming off a race where she did not finish the race. Either the jockey fell off or she was pulled up or something. 50 to 1. No surprise there. And the first-time starter, number 4, Miss Goldberg, 20 to 1. No surprise there either. Now, what's the story, and what are we going to do? Okay, let me throw it at you first. Here's your situation in your post time. Your top two picks are value odds horses. We've already eliminated the third one. You got 50 to 1 and you got 20 to 1. I want you to think before I give you the answer. I want you to think. Well, you have two choices. Three choices. A, bet them both. B, bet the 50 to 1 shot and put a saver on the 20 to 1 shot. Or C, bet the 50 to 1 shot only. Now, I'm going to ask you a question. If you've seen the videos, we got almost 100 now in the Discovery series. How many $100 winners are there compared to $30 or $40 winners? Well, there's only a very small handful of $100 winners. As a matter of fact, maybe not even a handful. But there's a heck of a lot of $30 and $40 winners. Okay, because somebody asked me this the other day by email. They asked, John, do you have a limit to the odds on a value odds horse? In other words, a cap. Where I would say if it's too high, I'm not going to play it. The answer is no. However, I do have a cap on the bottom, and you know what that is. Now, at 20 to 1, I would never not play a 20 to 1 value odds horse. It's 20 to 1, okay? And once again, our first-time starter angle is in effect here, and I'm going to cover that with you also in just a second. So the correct answer, when you got a 20 to 1 shot and a 50 to 1 shot, the correct answer is play them both. We have a certain strategy for doing that, okay? Now, let me get you back to the main page there. You got Hidden Loot. Best total pace. I love a top pick with the best total pace. Obviously, she's coming off some kind of situation. She hasn't raced in 73 days. And that race, you could see here at Delaware, 0 out of 9 means she did not finish the race. So something went awry. But she is back. We do have a positive trainer, successful trainer pattern here. Got a whole bunch of icons. She has proven the ability in the past that she's able to win a race like this. But the betting public will not bet a horse that did not finish their last race and taken off 73 days since. That's just death to the betting public. And if this was 20 years ago, I would say absolutely don't even consider this horse. But let me tell you, I know I mention this in almost every video. This game is changing. It subtly changes over time. It's incredible the difference of how many horses, of all the horses that didn't finish their prior race, no matter what reason it was. Zero finish position. Did not finish. Whether the jock fell or the horse got injured or something went, whatever happened. Doesn't matter. Horse didn't finish the race. Doesn't matter how long ago it was. Could have been 2 weeks ago. Could have been 73 days ago. Could have been a year ago. That didn't matter in my study. Comparing to 20 years ago, because my records do go way back. It's like night and day. How many horses win this day and age off such a condition? So obviously, even though the 50 to 1 shots, we rarely get a winner at 50 to 1, but we do get them. We're more likely to get one at 20 to 1, so that's why we have to play both horses. We're certainly not going to play the 50 to 1 shot. So this is a situation. Now, I don't like betting 2 horses. I'll tell you straightforward. I don't like betting 2 horses. But it is okay to bet 2 horses if they are 20 to 1 and 50 to 1. Okay? The way I bet is not a problem to bet 2 horses. Because I'm in to a median odds that is way above my 10 to 1. In other words, my odds on betting the 2 horses is still way above my 10 to 1 by betting them both. So, it doesn't really, it's no question this is a 2-horse bet. And I'm going to show you exactly what we do in that, as far as the strategies in just a minute. Miss Goldberg. What's to like about Miss Goldberg? Now, this is just for historical research purposes. The odds, remember now, the odds are the most important. This has already determined who we're going to bet and who we're not going to bet. But I like to know a story, and I do continual research. For our special first-time starter criteria, we look at a lot of things. Patterns of workouts. We even take a look at the workout times. This horse, Miss Goldberg, does not have the workout icon, so she did not run a fast workout. Her workout points are 73, which is far below my 100 perfect pattern rating, so she didn't qualify there. So this is one of those hidden deals. She qualified, and you don't have an icon for this. But and this was this the previous video, I believe we had a first-time starter, wasn't it? On this was almost the same situation. Video 96, yes. Now this first-time starter had some good workout patterns on this race here from Churchill. Good workout patterns and good workout time and pedigree. Okay, but that's Churchill Downs maiden special on the turf. This is Delaware Park maiden 7500 claiming. You're not going to find a whole bunch of stuff. But look what we did find. I will tell you. I highlighted the sire and the dam sire. Johannesburg is the sire. You probably remember this horse. I lose track of the years, but I don't think it was that long ago when Johannesburg ran in the Breeders' Cup, which is days away from today in the juvenile. But been a decent sire. I mean, as far as my ratings are concerned, it was enough. It was enough of a sire rating in combination with the dam sire of Touch Gold to make the first-time starter the second pick in the race. Okay? So, as far as this first-time starter is concerned, there is no icon that would indicate anything. Now, she does have the W icon, meaning the best wet track pedigree, but the track wasn't wet. So, I mean, it's there, but it doesn't apply. Okay? So to speak. That's the story on Miss Goldberg. And Hidden Loot, we discussed that one. The odds are there. Now, get the bet together. There is a certain way that I bet when I bet two horses. There is a certain strategy. It's obviously a little bit different than how I bet one horse, but actually, it's not much different. First of all, always the win bet. Even if we're going to play exotics, we must do the win bet. And for the video purposes, I make it simple. And I go 10 bucks to win. Now, since you have a 50 to 1 shot and a 20 to 1 shot, you can maneuver the odds to bet X amount of dollars on either one. No, I don't want to up. I don't even want anything close. Firefox, every time they update, I'm like on an old version because the new version, nothing works. They don't have all the add-ons working. Well, I'd rather stay with the old version. All right. Now, you can figure out how much you got to bet on the 50 to 1 shot and how much to bet on the 20 to 1 shot to where which horse would win, you'd get the same amount of money returned. That's called Dutch betting. There's a Dutch calculator on the free page, right-hand column all the way down. You'll see it. You'll see a link to it. But just to make things simple, I could just do a straight bet, 10 bucks to win on both. Next comes the exacta. I always wheel the exacta. So we would have a $2, 4 and 5 on top with all underneath. Okay? I also wheel doubles. Now, coming out of this race, obviously, I would have a 4-5 with all double. Coming into this race, you wouldn't know in advance if the 10 was going to be bet, so you can either pass the daily double coming in or take a shot at all three. That's up to you. Me personally, I take a shot on a maiden claiming race, absolutely. All right, so you got your win bets first, wheel exacta, wheel double. Now, if you have enough bankroll to play the trifecta, there's two possible situations. When there's two horses, as far as the trifecta is concerned, depending on how much the bet would cost to play our usual key horse on top or horses on top in the first position, and then Group A and the top horse and Group B in the middle, depending on how much that costs, I may or may not play the trifecta. Okay? I would say 50-50, most of the time 60-40, 70-30, I don't play the trifecta because it's too much of an outlay. But at this track, they offer 50-cent trifectas. Now, I play for a minimum dollar, so that's what and it wasn't that much for my bankroll to play the 4-10 on top with the 5-4-10-1-2 with all. Okay? 4-5 on top in the first position. Second position, 5-4-10-1-2, which represents all the horses in Group A and the top horse in Group B. Then all for third. 10-cent super, all for fourth. Now, if you don't have a bankroll that can afford the wager, skip the trifecta bet and skip the super. But absolutely, positively have your win bet and exacta in effect on these two. And if you have to, just the win bet. That's fine. You know, the win bet is not just a bet for those who are light in the bankroll, because I know many members that have unlimited bankrolls. I'm talking guys with $10,000 bankrolls, and they only bet to win. Okay? It's a very conservative, smart way to make a long-term profit in this game. There's nothing wrong with win bets. And if you're starting with a light bankroll, this is perfect for you. Throw your 10 bucks on both, or if you want to do a little figuring, or hit up the Dutch wagering calculator, figure out that, whatever you got to bet to win, there, you do it. Now, you have handicapping, which we discussed. Then we talked about the wagering strategies. Okay? And now you know what our bets are. 4 and the 5 to win. Exacta, 4 and 5 on top with all underneath. Also wheel the doubles. Trifecta, 4, 5 on top with 4, 5, 10, 1, 2 with all. Okay? Confuse you enough? It's not really that difficult. Take a look at what happened. We got the very beautiful value odds exacta. Usually, when we hit a value odds exacta, it's a pretty good exacta. Especially in this case, it is. Notice the favorite was beat. Favorite at 7 to 5, or right somewhere in that range. And second favorite and third favorite all finished below our two value odds horses that were off at the odds that we like to see. Our key horses. So we got Miss Goldberg, the first-time starter, exerting her pedigree in light at 112. You know, that weight does make a little bit of a difference in a cheap race. Maiden claiming 75 is cheap. Okay? I find that weight does become a factor the cheaper the class condition you go. It's not much of a factor in higher class races. Okay? That's not my opinion. That is what my research has shown me over several decades. So I'm sure the 112 pounds didn't hurt. That she got some weight there. And as a matter of fact, the other value odds horse was in at a full 122 and still ran second, coming off a 73-day layoff in which she didn't finish the race at 58 to 1. Completing, we got a $39 win mutual. The exacta, remember I play $2 exactas, $850 some dollars. So, I know most of the members a lot of members just play win bet and exacta. You would hit, and doubles, done very well here on that. I did play the dollar trifecta, but if you were to play the 50-cent version, you still got 1,200 on a 50-cent version. Okay, 24 on a dollar, not bad, considering the heavy favorite ran third. Another grand. Let me get you to all the payoffs here. Let's take a look at everything. Win bet, $10 win bet returns $195. Exacta, 852. On the value odds exacta. Dollar try, 2,417. The 10-cent payoff on the super. Anytime you can get close to $1,000 return on a 10-cent super, consider that a big victory. Okay? Anything even remotely close to 1,000 is a job very, very well done and a nice payout for a 10-cent super. Two daily doubles. The one coming in, well, I don't think was the one coming in paid $259.80, but the one going out, actually there was another long shot in the race afterwards, so it paid $537.60. Not bad. So on a Sleepy Tuesday, did they write a song, Sleepy Tuesday? I know there was Ruby Tuesday, Sleepy Sunday, Sleepy Monday, whatever. Sleepy Tuesday is what I'm calling it. We seem to make some big hits on Mondays and Tuesdays. 5,271.76. I mean, while the rest of the horse racing world is just biding their time on Mondays and Tuesdays, we're raking it in. If you look up and down this page, and also, if you want to know what tracks to play, look at this page. It'll tell you where the money's at. Delaware Park, Churchill Downs, Turf Paradise. Keeneland just closed. But Turf Paradise and Turf Paradise again, the Monday, Tuesday hit. Monmouth Park. Santa Anita. Belmont Park. Suffolk Downs, Calder. Santa Anita, Belmont Park. Turfway's closed. Those are closed. Belmont Park, Remington Park, Delaware Park, Delaware Park again. So I mean, the evidence for Delaware Park is on this page. All right. If you want to know where the money's at, check this page. But absolutely, now that Turf Paradise is open, forget about it. Mondays and Tuesdays, excellent opportunities. They're no longer. I love winter racing. I really do. I love those two tracks on a Monday, Tuesday. Because there's always an opportunity. Now, the third thing and last thing I want to talk about real quick is bankroll management. This is the very important, essential element, because you have to manage your money in order to get from one hit to the next hit, even if you're just making win bets. Okay? In order to cash that $195, you have to be able to manage your money so that you have, the money to make the bet, or even if it's a $2 bet or a $3 bet, whatever it is, depending on your bankroll, you have to set aside a certain amount for horse racing. Whatever it is, doesn't matter. It could be $100, it could be less than $100, whatever, I don't care. Doesn't matter, it's irrelevant because we're using percentages. Now, you establish that amount for horse racing. Of that amount, you want to take a maximum percentage of that total amount that you will bet on any given race that you do partake in. In other words, in any race that you do bet, and hopefully you're following good preferred races, any race that you do partake in, bet a maximum percentage of that total horse racing bankroll. My suggestion, if you want to stick to the 1 to 2% range, I will almost guarantee virtually you will never blow out your bankroll. Okay? If you follow preferred races at the tracks that I follow, at 1% to 2% max, you will never blow out your bankroll, and that's almost a guarantee. And that may mean $2 win bets for you. It depends on your bankroll. But you have to understand that this is all designed for long-term profit. You may not want long-term profit, or it might not matter to you. You just might like to blow off steam on your days off and just bet. That's fine. You'll do really good with the reports. There's no doubt about that. I mean, the reports absolutely. How many reports have these type of first-time starters? First of all right, not many. 2 videos in a row, first-time starter winners. I'm telling you, I got a criteria for first-timers that make your head spin. But here again, this is the result of decades and decades worth of research and testing and modifying sometimes slowly, because the game dynamically changes. What worked 20 years ago doesn't necessarily work as well today. What works well today probably didn't work well 20 years ago. Okay? The game has changed. Everything has changed. The horsemen's attitudes have changed. The racing officials have changed. The horses themselves have changed. The technology in the feed, and the technology in the track maintenance, and the veterinary, and the shoes, and I mean, I could go on and on and on. Everything has changed over time. So what worked 20 years ago, if you're still playing that same thing, you ain't doing too good. The game dynamically changes, and that's why I analyze the results of every race at every track every day and compare them to the reports, and along the way made slight adjustments. Haven't made any real adjustments in quite some time. But when I see that there is an adjustment that needs to be made, I am on top of this dynamically. I'm on top of the game dynamically. So, my records are kept by hand. Even though I have a computer that can easily do the work in minutes, I'd rather take months to do the hand work on research. It gives me a better total feel of what actually I'm looking at. I don't like to rattle off a database and it spits me out figures. Figures don't mean crap to me. I don't care. Like I said, I'd rather do the study by hand and eyeball a couple of things in or eyeball a couple of things out of the study, but put my twist on it that only a human brain can do. Computer can only think for so much. Computer is good for tedious work, not for thinking for you. Okay? Human brain is the best supercomputer for thinking. Well, that's why I would rather take 3 months to do a study that I could do for 3 minutes running figures. I don't get the total feel. All I get is a number, and it means nothing to me. Anyway, that's the sermon for today. We're encroaching 100 videos on the Discovery Series. Breeders' Cup is coming up in 2 days. It's a good time of the year. It's a good time to be a horse player. Thanks for viewing. Good luck.